Hey there everyone, it's review time. Today we're going to get into the fourth piece that NECA Toys is bringing us. The NECA Alien Romulus Suspended Lab Xenomorph XX121. This piece follows the Alien Romulus accessory pack, SCORCHED Xenomorph, and the standard XX121. Links are in the info section for anyone that is wanting to order these figures, along with my personal reviews of every piece, in case you want my assessment of each figure or pack. Now this piece I'm conducting a little bit differently, as it's not exactly your usual action figure. I mean it is, but then again it comes off more of a decor piece, and I could see people using this to create unique dioramas. That's actually where I see this having interest, so I'm not going to say it's going to be something with a universal draw, like a standard Xenomorph, but let's go ahead and talk about the box, which breaks the usual standard. Now this figure's box will pop out to any shoppers at your local comic or action figure shop. Like literally, you get a good look at the action figure, rather than the standard box art where you just see promotional shots on each side. One side features a window and promotional shot. The other side is yet again another unique shot and a side view window. Top has the typical information, a top hexagon window. Finally, the back features a nice acid burn window, with 3 more pictures and features of what you get out of this unique diorama piece. And finally, the bottom gives us that nice Whale and Yutani logo and the credits. Overall, I do like this box, and I could see it having some appeal to collectors that would like to leave the figurine in the box. Nothing against anyone who does so, but I'm ready to release this guy's corpse from his prison. So let's talk about our deceased big chap. Now when you get this figure out of the packaging, please be careful not to accidentally snip one of the actual wires and such. It took some effort to get this guy out of the actual plastic interior for me, but you'll get this guy hung up in at least 3 primary wires and pipes as such. The best part is he's totally removable, pretty effortlessly, and really this is an extremely rad piece, with an absolutely destroyed face, the eye sockets showing, a piece of his ribs missing, acid burns on the hand, and the back of the elongated head is just totally missing. Not to mention the spine piping also kind of has a chip that is just completely gone, giving you the impression that everything was thrown at Big Chap just to stop the body count he was piling up during the final moments of his life. One of my favorite parts? That harpoon that just stuck in his ribs. Mine does have a little warping to it. So yes, minor issues by NECA, seen this before. And one thing I'd like to point out is it does actually spin some, though it is kind of restricted due to his spine, so it doesn't spin all too much. Look down by the legs, and we're completely missing one and the other. A bit more intact on one of them though. It appears our big chap kind of got the Cotton Hill treatment on the left side, and lost his damn shin. Meanwhile, his tail looks great until you look at the tip end, where the barb was completely missing from the last stand in his battle. Now here I'm going to supply you some up-close shots of the damage, just so you can see the sheer detail on this figure. Now primarily the sculpt is very similar to the standard XX121 we were given, though it's not the exact same since this one was sculpted from scratch. Throughout the figure we have a semi-translucent dome, browns, metallic colors, and shades of blue slightly underneath the correct lighting. Metallic claws on these fingers. And here's a comparison of the claws on the recent XX121 if anyone is curious about how it matches up to be exact with the other one. Now what about the articulation? So this figure does have some limited articulation, however it is extremely mild. The head rocks back and forth somewhat, we get some movement out of the arms, more range is allowed out of the left arm, single bend on the elbows, no double jointed features or slits on the biceps. Please be extremely cautious when moving the elbows. To me, these seem extremely fragile, and too much pressure I could see potentially breaking the elbows. So I just want to give a warning. Move to the body, and there's kind of a little rock at the abs. Now I want to talk about one of my favorite features with this action figure, and that's the fact it features a magnetic bendy wire within the tail. Now some people might be thinking, why is this important? Practically every NECA action figure has a bendy wire within. To me, this is important because not too long ago, NECA kind of botched the SCORCHED Xenomorph by having no magnetic bendy wire. So I conducted a test with the standard XX121 and it passed it. For this one, it does have that magnet within it. So that is extremely important to see this as part of the action figure. Perhaps NECA heard our complaints and made sure not to botch the tail this time around. So now what about the diorama piece? From the top, it's extremely solid with 4 different screw holes. Different textures, extremely solid on all sides. All the pipes and wires are nice and pliable. I do believe this is a nice sturdy piece, however I would be cautious about playing with the wires too much. Especially these thinner ones, which putting too much force or tugging at them could easily break them. My advice would be to move this guy from the underneath and just gradually kind of working him into your liking. Any way you wish works. I don't believe any one method is the end-all say-all when hanging this guy up. Now ideally, you would use these screw holes for this diorama piece when mounting it, but what about those of which that prefer to try command strips? Alright, so I wanted to go ahead and test this just because I'm sure there's some people that are wanting to know about how universal this is and how it would hold. If you choose to take this route, it will hold up. As I record this, I have yet to hear Big Chap drop from where I placed him, so I'd advise you to clean the surface you're going to place the strips on, but I do have some long-term concern about the sticky residue and how it might damage the paint apps in the long run. I do understand some buyers may not be willing to drill into shelves, or just keep them in one place, so you may favor moving him from shelf to shelf seamlessly as you wish, so this could be an option. Honestly, I believe this is a clever piece by Neca. I really have a lot of love for it and the idea of this diorama, and the execution is just really solid. However, the negative is this piece might not draw to everyone, and it might just be more of a novelty piece. Something you may see at a local comic shop and think, oh hey, that's sick, but not bring it home ultimately, because you'd much rather buy a full-size Big Chap. So this one's for the ones that love dioramas or just in general are completists when collecting in the game. So in turn, I won't oversell this product to you personally. I've left a few suggested links in the info section if you'd like to get your hands on this figure now. And I do apologize about the delay on posting this video. It's just been life in general holding me up, and I'm ready to resume my content on this channel. After a little break from editing, big thanks to everyone tuning in. Leave a like, comment your thoughts. I encourage the engagement, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Take care.